everyone, I am Riza Marie Ward, a senior high school student from Our Lady of Fatima University. I'm from STEM 11 YA2P and I will be discussing rational functions. Before we start, kindly prepare a piece of paper and pen that you can use as we start to solve some mathematical problems. Are you guys ready? Let's start.
Rational functions. Here are the lessons included for today's topic. First is the introduction to rational functions. Here, I will tell you what exactly a rational function is. Next, I will be teaching you how to solve the inverse of rational function, the vertical, horizontal, and oblique asymptote, the domain and range, and lastly, the x and y intercept. Rational functions are any functions whose value can be expressed as a quotient of two polynomials where the denominator is not zero. It is represented by f of x is equals to p of x over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomial functions and q of x is not equal to zero. So, bakit nga ba q of x cannot be equal to zero? Dahil kapag yung q of x natin, which is the denominator, naging 0, the function will be undefined. It is also important to know that a function that cannot be written in a form of a polynomial is not a rational function. Since we have mentioned that q of x and p of x are both polynomial functions, let us have a run-through on the polynomial functions. This is the form of a polynomial function. A polynomial function has an exponent, coefficient, variable, and constant. Yung 2x squared, 5x, and 10 are called terms. And yung nasa pinakaunahan, that is the leading term. And of course, those with negative exponent divided by a variable and with radical sign or yung mga x raised to 1/2, x raised to 1/4 are not considered as a polynomial function. Next, the inverse of rational function. In here, we have the 4 steps to follow in our solving process. First is to replace f of x with y. Second is to switch x and y. Third is to isolate the y variable. And fourth is to change y with f of x raised to -1. So inverse, meaning kabaliktaran, f of x will be f of x raised to -1 na in writing our final answer. Let's follow these steps on our example. The given rational function is f of x is equal to -11x plus 6 over x plus 6. First step is to replace f of x with y. Then, switch the x and y. Yung y, papalitan natin ng x and lahat ng x will turn into y. The third step is medyo mahaba, which is to isolate the y variable. All we have to do is to multiply both sides with x plus y para makancel yung denominator natin. So, ayan, cancel the denominator. Then, it will be x times xy plus 6 is equals to -11y plus 6. Distribute the x sa left side, bali, it will be xy plus 6x is equals to -11y plus 6. To isolate the y variable, itatranspose natin lahat ng may y sa left side and yung wala ililipat sa right. Always remember na tuwing magta-transpose, the sign will also change. So, transpose 6x to the right, magiging -6x, and the -11y sa left, magiging +11y. Then, the equation is now xy plus 11y is equals to -6x plus 6. Since ang goal natin is to isolate y alone, ilalabas natin siya, bali magiging y times x plus 11 is equals to -6x plus 6. Then, para mawala si x plus 11 sa left side, i-divide natin both sides sa x plus 11. Cancel x plus 11 sa numerator and denominator sa left. Ang matitira is y is equals to -6x plus 6 over x plus 11. Now that we are finished sa third step, we will proceed on the fourth and last step, which is to write the answer by changing y to f of x raised to -1. And that will be our final answer. I know that the process of this is quite long and complicated. Kaya naman, I will show you the short method that I have learned from school. There are only two steps, which is to change their places and change their sign. So, ito yung given natin kanina. First step is to change their places. Yung negative 11 na coefficient ng leading term sa numerator is mapupunta on the denominator sa right side, magiging constant. And papalitan natin yung sign, pag positive, magiging negative siya, and pag negative, magiging positive. Repeat the steps vice versa. Yung constant sa denominator will be the coefficient ng leading term sa numerator, and also, don't forget to change their sign. Kung mapapansin nyo, same answer pa rin yung kinalabasan nito sa kanina natin, but in a less complicated way. Another example. Positive 7, ililipat sa baba and change the sign, magiging negative 7. Positive 9, ililipat sa taas, change the sign, magiging negative 9. The final answer is f of x raised to negative 1 is equals to negative 9 plus 1 over negative x minus 7. Now, you can pause the video and try to answer this too. Okay, so the correct answer is first, number 1, f of x raised to negative 1 is equals to x plus 2 over x minus 3. Number 2, f of x raised to negative 1 is equals to 9x over 7x minus 5. Just like what we did on our example, we changed their places and changed their sign. Now, bakit po on the first example nawala si 1 pagdating sa taas? It is because every time na there is a positive 1 coefficient in every term, hindi na natin siya isinusulat pero nandun pa din siya. Next is vertical asymptote. Vertical asymptote is a vertical line that guides the graph of the function. But just like what you can see on the picture, it only guides the graph but it is not part of the function. So, to get or find the vertical asymptote, we are going to equate the denominator to 0 and solve for x. Notice our example, the denominator is x plus 6. Equate to 0, bali x plus 6 is equal to 0. To solve for x, transpose the x to the right and x will be negative 6. Now, try to pause the video and answer this one. The denominator of the example is x minus 1. Equate to 0, bali x minus 1 is equal to 0. To solve for x, transpose negative 1 to the right, and x will be positive 1. Did you get the right answer? If yes, let us now move on to horizontal asymptote. If not, you can rewind the video to watch it again. Horizontal asymptote. Just like the previous one, horizontal asymptote is also a line that guides the graph of the function. The only difference is that vertical asymptote guides the graph vertically and this guides it horizontally. To find the horizontal asymptote, focus on the highest degree of the numerator and denominator. So, if the degree of the denominator is greater than the numerator, then the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to 0. Look on our example dito sa right side. The highest degree sa numerator is 1 and sa denominator 2. Since mas mataas ang 2 than the 1 exponent, the horizontal asymptote is y equals to 0. Reminder, pag walang nakasulat na number sa exponent or coefficient, it is considered as 1. If the degree of the denominator is less than the numerator, then there is no horizontal asymptote. Tignan uli yung example, mas mababa yung highest degree sa denominator compared sa numerator since 1 yung nasa denominator and 2 yung nasa numerator. Therefore, this example has no oblique asymptote. And lastly, if the degree of the denominator is equal to the numerator, divide the numerical coefficient of both numerator and denominator. As you can see, parehas 2 yung highest degree nila. Pag ganito daw, i-divide yung numerical coefficient nila. So, 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. Therefore, y is equal to 2. Remember, greater than y is equal to 0, less than no oblique asymptote, and equal divide the numerical coefficient. Oblique asymptote. Oblique asymptote is a slant line that guides the graph of the function. To find the oblique asymptote, just like the horizontal asymptote, we are also going to focus on the highest degree of the numerator and the denominator. If the degree of the denominator is greater than the numerator, then there is no oblique asymptote. Here, makikita natin na the highest degree of the numerator is 1, while sa denominator is 2. Therefore, wala siyang oblique asymptote. Next, if the degree of the denominator is equal to the numerator, then there is no oblique asymptote. The highest degree of the numerator as well as the denominator of the example is both 2, so wala pa rin. Lastly, if the degree of the numerator is more than 1 than the denominator, then there is an oblique asymptote. In this example, the highest degree of the numerator is 2 and the denominator is 1. So 2 is more than 1 sa 1. Therefore, there is an oblique asymptote. Applicable lang siya if it is only more than 1, like 3 and 4. Since 4 is more than 1 sa 3. If it is more than 2 or more, it is a different case. Since there's an oblique asymptote, to find it, we are going to use synthetic division. This is the given. To get the divisor, first equate the denominator to 0. X plus 6 is equal to 0. Then solve for x. To solve for x, transpose it to the other side and don't forget to change its sign. X is equal to negative 6. Bali, that is our divisor. For our dividend naman, aalisin lang natin yung variable sa given on the numerator. 4, negative 12, and 10. Bring down 4, multiply it to the divisor. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Negative 12 plus negative 24 is equals to negative 36. Repeat the process. Negative 36 times 6 is equals to 216. 10 plus 216 is equals to 226. The oblique asymptote is y equal to 4x negative 36. Yung nasa pinakadulo ng ating synthetic division is not included dahil that is only the remainder. For the oblique asymptote, greater than no oblique asymptote equals still no oblique asymptote, more than 1, use synthetic division to get the oblique asymptote. Usually, oblique asymptote occurs when there is no horizontal asymptote in the given, but not in all cases. Are you able to follow? If not, you can rewind the video to watch because later we will have an activity. Let's move on to domain and range. Domain is all the possible x values of a function, while range is all the possible y values of a function. Let's start off with the domain. To find the domain, equate the denominator to 0, solve for x, and write it in builder notation. Similar given to the previous ones. X plus 6 is equal to 0. Transpose the 6 to get the x, and don't forget to change its sign. Also, x is equal to negative 6. Similar lang kung paano kinukuha yung vertical asymptote, but the only difference is how we are going to write the final answer. The final answer is x such that x is not equal to negative 6. The builder notation is enclosed in brackets or braces, meaning they are in a set. So, any number aside from negative 6. And why is that? Try to substitute yung nakuha nyong answer on the denominator. As you can see, negative 6 plus 6 is equals to 0. If that happens, gaya ng nasabi ko at the beginning, the function will be undefined, which is yung iniiwasan natin. Now, pause the video and try to solve for the next example. Okay, let's solve this problem. The denominator is 5x plus 8. Equate natin to 0, 5x plus 8 is equal to 0. Transpose 8, papalitan yung sign, 5x is equal to negative 8. Isolate natin si x by dividing it by 5 para makancel. Divide both sides by 5. Cancel, and x is equal to negative 8 over 5. The final answer for the domain of this is x such that x is not equal to negative 8 over 5. Next is range, similar given. Get the inverse. Equate the denominator to 0. X plus 11 is equal to 0. Transpose. Don't forget to change the sign. X is equal to negative 11. Write the final answer in builder notation. Range is equals to y such that y is not equal to negative 11. Again, pause the video and try to solve the next example. Time's up. Let us solve. Get the inverse using the short method. Change their places and change their sign. Use its denominator, 5x minus 2. Equate natin to 0. 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. Transpose. Don't forget the sign. 5x is equal to 2. Isolate x by dividing both sides by 5 para makancel. Cancel. Range is y such that y is equal to 2 over 5. Did you get the correct answer? Let's proceed to the x and y intercept. X-intercept is the point where the line crosses the x-axis, while y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, gaya nung nasa picture. Sa x-intercept muna tayo. To find the x-intercept, make the y 0, solve for x, and write the answer in ordered form. Make the y 0, then solve the x. Multiply x plus 6 both sides to cancel the denominator. Cancel. Multiply 0 sa x plus 6, which is 0 then, dahil any number divided by 0 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to negative 11x plus 6. Transpose 6 sa kabilang side to isolate the y. And divide both sides sa negative 11 para maiwan si x. Cancel. X is equal to 6 over 11. Bakit naging positive siya? Dahil negative divided by negative is equal to positive. Write it in ordered form. X-intercept is 6 over 11, 0. As usual, pause the video and try to solve the next given. Change y to 0. Multiply both sides sa negative x plus 9 para makancel yung denominator. Cancel. Multiply negative x plus 9 to 0 is equal to 0. 0 is equals to 7x plus 1. Transpose to the left side to isolate x. Divide both sides by 7 para maiwan uli si x. Cancel. And x is equals to negative 1 over 7. Write it in ordered form. X-intercept is negative 1 over 7, 0. Next is the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, make the x 0, solve for x, and write the answer in ordered form. So, lahat ng x, palitan natin ng 0. Negative 11 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. On the denominator, 0 plus 6 is 6. Y is equal to 6 over 6 or 1. Write it in ordered form. Y-intercept is 0, 1. For our last example, you can pause the video and try to solve it. So, make x 0. Palitan natin lahat ng x to 0. 7 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. For our denominator, negative 0 plus 9 is still 9. Y is equal to 1 over 9. y-intercept is 0, 1 over 9. Before I end this, here is an exercise for you to test what you have learned. Because remember, the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. You can scan the QR code for the answer sheet. Do not be afraid to have mistakes because mistakes allow thinking to happen.
That is all for today. Thank you, and I hope you have learned something. Bye!